Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League week number 7. We are out on the Petit Boucle. I think I actually got that right this time. I'm Nathan Guerra Dave Towle next to me. And week number 7 for a figure 8 type lap. It's been broken up a lot over the day as far as the racing goes, very aggressive. Which has ended up in a lot of smaller packs. I wasn't expecting that. But it's made for some awesome broadcast today. APAC is done. EMEA is done. And now we've got America's East and West. Women out on course. Men are about to take off in about, it looks to be 12 minutes. As women head toward the first sprint point, let's just make sure everybody's fully informed about what is going on in the world of Zwift currently right now. Dave, there's a lot happening. World Championships just a couple weeks away.
That's a big deal, as well as the nations race is happening right before that, which is a great preview of that World Championship course. So all of the teams have announced their riders, but guess what? You're on a team now. The 22 top, as far as subscribers go on Zwift. Nathan and I are teammates, so that's kind of a big deal for us. We're figuring things out, but we're on the United States of America's team. I'm not sure if our friend up in Canada, Martin, if he's riding for England. Oh, actually, that's going to be the United Kingdom or Canada, depending on how that one goes. But anyways, all joking aside, it's going to be a ton of fun. Get to see the course, get a feel for it, and ride with your country. And you can find all the details there at WTRL.racing. It's pretty straight ahead, though. You're joining all of your countrymen and women in racing together, and we'll throw out the very top 10%, the bottom 10%, and then look at the average. So that's one thing to look forward to. We've got our World Championships coming up as well on Thursday. That's going to be Thanksgiving here in the United States, but a great day for racing. And for all the racers here in the U.S., what better way to earn your turkey later in the day? With no turkey trots or any of that going on, well, you can certainly burn off about 800 calories doing the World Championships of team time trialing. So, yeah, a tremendous amount of stuff going on besides round 7 of 10 underway now with the Zwift Racing League.
Zwift Racing League, absolutely great. We'll take a look at the standings currently in just a second for both of these races. Let's take a quick look at what countries are going to be involved in the Nations Challenge.
Oh, cool. So 22 nations represented.
Go ahead, Dave. We got the represented countries here. Go ahead and check that out. This is gonna be great. Now, this is working interesting. The qualification is the top 22. If I'm not incorrect, as far as subscriptions go, with 2 events each, with 44 in total over the 5th and 6th of December.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to see some of the nations here, not large population-wise, but represented. And that speaks to, its quality and quantity, but just the number of people that have embraced Zwifting in Ireland, for example, and Belgium right there. So these are the 22 nations, but you can see there's one, that blue flag down in the bottom right, the rest of the world. So anybody can join. I'm thinking, like if you're in Saudi Arabia, you're not left out. Jump in with that combine squad there. It'll be interesting to see how they sort out once we get all of the results in. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, for every level of Zwifter.
Yeah, absolutely great. Really excited to see what Zwift and WTRL put together there. Now, on the other side of things, we do have some standings here for the men's and the women's current standings for the Zwift Racing League. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at these here. We do have at the top of the America's East Division, ATP Venom, but Stars to Pros Closet right on their heels with Finesse Wahoo Chicks, only 1 second behind, and that is after an amazing TTT this past week. CCY Race Like a Girl Do, followed up by Carnage and Galopan, Revo Whips, BRT Dark Kittens, and then Wadi Inc. Washington. WA, I'm assuming Washington there, and then it's going to be ATP Racing Stingers and Misunderstood. C's here with Tsunami. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, we combine the A's and the B's together. So let's just jump into the C's now. Is Z Tsunami with 115 points? It's not done. 112 for ATP Racing Hive. So that'll be very interesting to watch who ends up at the top of the table when that one is done and dusted. That's going to be Wadi Inc. WC2 sitting in third right now. And there's another battle for the third spot, the virtual podium with Revo Doves giving a run for their money to Wadi Inc. Fifth place is the Flaming Kittens from BRT, the Margaritas in sixth, Herd of Otters, Cryogen Obesque, No Drama Llamas, and CCNS Merry Cranksters. That's your top 10 as we get ready to head out to Petit Boucle, the little circle. It's 48 kilometers of racing today. Top teams will earn 20 points. But let's take a look. So Finesse Wahoo's so strong on both sides, Nathan. They've only missed getting the full 20 points one time. I'll throw it back to you as we take a look at the men's 1A.
Yeah, men are about to take off in about 7 minutes. Let's get to the standings before we head into that. And that's going to be Finesse Wahoo, ATP Hydrogen in second there, ODZ Sharknado off the... So really the battle's for third there, it looks like. We'll see, though. We still have 3 weeks of racing. We'll see if ATP or ODZ can come up with something to grab that top 3 podium there. Cryogen Abduez, they're only 3 points behind Sharknado, though. The meme team followed up by Wadi Inc. A, FWT Party, Endurance Works, Dirt Alert tied up at 8th and 9th, and then ATP Racing Hydrogen. That's the men there in the East. For A's, now the B's.
All right, let's take a look at 119 points again, almost perfect for FW 3.9. In second is BMTRB2. Dirty Ducks in third there with 99 points, and then you can see we've got a tie. 3 teams stacked up on 91, the Gotham Grinders, the Dirty Diesels, and On the Rivet Oostrain. It's the Lion DZ Hearts in 7th, Rouleurs Polovello 8th, 30 Watts in 9th, and then WTRL, the Bombers, in 10th. So that's the B's. We'll take a look at the C's here as well, as we're about to have everybody out on course here in the next few minutes.
ATP Racing Nitrogen, Dirty Grinders, 4 points separate them, so that's the battle for first and second. RR Nuclear Rhinos, 94 points, 30 Time to Grind, 90 Z Underwear, Herd Mentality, Endurance Nation C2C, and Endurance Nation C2C1. They are only 1 point separating the commonality of Team Brand. That's pretty cool to see. Cryogen SA Calabra, and then RR Yavin Rhinos. What are Yavin Rhinos? I'm not exactly sure, but it's a cool name.
Very fast rhinos. All right, taking a look at the D's, ATP Racing Butane, 109 points to be top of the table. It's going to be very close here, just 2 points separating second and third. It's the Team Type 1 Beta Cells second, Dirty Drafters 2 points back in third. It's Herd of Fighting Frisians in fourth, the Herd of Plowing Percheron in fifth, ATP Racing Helium sixth, DRT Dakota, Cryogen Mauna Loa, Cranky Joints Bike Club, and STL Newbies. That's your top 10 right now in the D's, and that gives you a look at all of the different points tables for all of our divisions, men and women. The women were out on course first. That's where we've got a couple of the ATP teams, but ATP Venom have been the dominant squad out here, looking to see what Saris, the Pros Closet, and Finesse Wahoo chicks can do.
So
good look at the pen.
Yeah, so as both of the teams are out on course, or not teams, races are out on course, the men's and the women's. 4 minutes to go, you can see for the men. So as they get out on course, we'll jump in, and we'll be using this scene back and forth just so our viewers know between each of the pinch points, the important points out on course as we go along. So as the women do make their way over toward the first sprint point, not a whole lot has developed. I did see Anna Russell actually with an early dig. It looked like 4 stars to Pros Classic, which was interesting enough to see. Not sure that they had the firepower really to make much happen with it. Looking off the back, does look like it's mainly all together at this point. I'm not seeing anybody too far. Well, maybe I am seeing a 46-second gap here to one of the Revo ladies. 20 seconds back to Cryogen. So. Interesting. It did work a little bit as there's a chase group 20 seconds back, but the main bunch at this point is all up here with about 50, I'd say almost 60 riders here still involved.
Anna Russell, a colleague of ours, she's on. I'll join Kate Bates a little bit later tonight as we'll move to America's West. But I did not realize a pro triathlete in her storied athletic endurance career, talking about Anna Russell of the Sarah's the Pros Closet team, who's a rider director on that squad. And yeah, it's a super interesting team, to tell you the truth. As all of these teams, when you learn their backstories and the origin stories of the riders, it becomes fascinating. But she actually lived in France when she was doing triathlon, as they were talking about this morning on the broadcast. I love those two together. So, Nathan, we do have a few sprints to look forward to and a few, I guess you'd call them Queen of the Mountains. We saw decidedly different types of riders doing well. We were joking about horses for courses. Well, it certainly holds true. We have a couple of sprints out here that are for your standard garden variety type sprinters, just right down the middle there, versus like the Aqueduct, where there'll be points available. Now, these points are scored 3 deep for our teams. Those points are put into the basket that you're collecting points with today. There's a lot of points waiting at the finish line. 40 points for the winner, 35 for second, so on. Now, all of those points are added up amongst the team, and then the final tally will tell us the top team who will get the coveted 20 points today. The green and yellow jersey that'll be prominent, that's going to be Sarah's the Pros Closet. They come in with Finesse Wahoo in what's going to be a very interesting battle today. Now, ATP's not out of it, are they, Nathan? I mean, they're only 4 points ahead of Sarah's the Pros Closet. So it's not like they're completely free and clear and have this one in the bag. But 4 points is a nice advantage right now. It's going to really come down to not having a horrible team time trial. Now, in the community league that we're racing with here tonight, this is the 7th of 10 races versus 8 total races for the ZRL Premier League. But everybody looks pretty comfortable in the group right now as we jump in with the Fearless Furiosas team. Mateo.
Yeah, I think the conversation that I really want to focus in on, as far as the teams that have, there's one team here that has really put it together. We talked about it a little bit in the world of Zwift last week, and that is going to be that Finesse Wahoo chicks. They had a breakout ride last week, and what I'm interested in, with them being only 1 point behind Sasha Polska, 5 points behind ATP Racing Venom, can they show up on a day like today and have a similar type of result? You know, because is it going to be this freight train at the back end of the season here and be able to pick up a lot more points and kind of have an upset, or was it a one-off week? Can they reproduce a kind of result like that on a scratch race, in a points race type situation, or is it mainly going to be the fact that they've really figured out their TTT? So we do see a lot of the Wahoo Finesse jerseys in there. You'll see them in the blue there, and they're sitting really nicely in the midst of the pack, not leaning, not sticking their nose in the wind too much. We'll find out pretty quickly here as we do head into the first sprint point, as we do see a couple of riders on the move toward the front end of this race here, though. But definitely the story I'd be watching out for, is it going to be Wahoo able to make a move here, or is the story still going to be at the top there between Stars the Pros Closet and ATP? Or, I mean, also there's the reality of Wahoo taking over second place, perhaps, too.
Right. All they have to do is finish in front of Sarah's the Pros Closet today to theoretically, I mean, they'll either be taught, well, no, they'll end up moving into second. I think they've got ATP Venom as their target, but I tell you what, Anel Radford, the Australian rider, I mean, there's 3 pivotal riders on this team, Jennifer Santoyo and Rachel Lieberman. This team has real depth to it. Every one of those riders, Stella Chen deserves a lot of credit, along with Stephanie Clark as well. But this is a extremely well put together team. Speaking of Rachel Lieberman and ATP, get used to that gray and orange kit here, as that's going to be Lieberman up on the front. She's a powerhouse rider, and it looks like we got a sprint coming up. So this is going to be the first time, and I think that's Grossman, Christina Grossman, making a run at it now. It is fantastic, just like the Galga. She's a big supporter of adopting greyhound dogs, and she made them proud, right, Nathan? Look at that turn of speed there. Great job by Christina Grossman.
Super impressive sprint, actually, there. Good to see.
Doing her job.
Down. Yeah, that's for sure. Very impressive sprint. So we'll see how that ended up playing out in the replay here, as well as the sprint points, but it does look like she was able to take those down. And
that got my heart going there.
Yeah, that was an amazing turn of speed coming in from Grossman. So very impressive. And see if we can grab the replay is not supposed to be all black here, so we'll see if I can fix that up here and get the next one. But definitely
Nathan,
let me just put points coming across.
while you're doing that, let me just put that in perspective then. 3, 2, and 1 points. And there you go. Grossman being confirmed. Stephanie Clark, ATP Venom, getting. So they actually equal Grossman with those two riders. Stella Chen picking up 1, Stephanie Clark picking up 2. That equals 3 to the 3 that Grossman grabs there. So that's those points now are valuable, but they're part of a storyline that includes a lot more points to come later in the day. But these are the teams that are on point, clearly bringing their A game. I see Jane Despas moving up. You see a lot of Canadian and American flags, and then it's going to be Australia and New Zealand because of the part of the day that we're moving into. We're actually into already their Wednesday right now. As Nathan, the group coming back together after these sprints, it's a little bit different over the top at the aqueduct, isn't it? As we've seen regrouping, but not everybody makes it back. That's really the first, as you say, pinch point, or where you see riders actually getting dropped out of the group that don't return. Although we've seen quite a few groups today fight back. That's really, I think, a 5-second gap has been welded together multiple times throughout the day today.
Yeah, interesting enough to see this section is Stoll along with Cyrus the Pros Closet again on the attack. And I have a feeling that they've shown up to say enough is enough with ATP. Taking down that first one, I think that they're throwing very specific riders at each one of these sections as well, with a plan. They've showed up with a plan, but a C-Star Race Like a Girl might have a different plan, it looks like, as Post makes her way to the front right now. It's going to be Whitney Post hammering away, but Finesse Wahoo's here as well, 7.4. We were talking about Monks earlier, and she has been a standout rider for this Finesse Wahoo chicks here. Lieber tried to come through, but Monks just makes it happen across the line. Well, what a kick there coming from her.
Yeah, they didn't participate in the first one, but they timed that one perfectly. Monks is one of the names, Nathan, that really stands out to me here through the 7 weeks of racing that we've seen up to this point, as we're going to be jumping in with Rathwell. So, yeah, you really, it's almost like a match of Chinese checkers here. There's 3 big teams, but, never count out Sisu as well. As we take a look at what kind of regrouping do you see here? Annabella, we were talking about Stoll Desero. She's been another one of the riders that has had a fantastic series up to this point, and I would expect more from her. You never do know when they snap that elastic here, and you can see there's a few riders, Nathan, in a little bit of trouble right now. Certainly, I believe that they can come back, but you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball. Not ideal 15K in to be having to chase this hard at this point. You're going to be burning some matches you'd much rather have later.
Real quickly, I want to take a look at the way that move was made over the top by Monks. Do you see how she comes through exactly when the uphill stops, punches into about that 6 to 7, now 8 watts per kilogram? It's the speed she gains to that section, and there's just no time really to come back. I believe looking at that, it was going to be Monks followed up by CCI Race Like a Girl. I'm not sure if Post was able to grab those points there. We'll have to take a look at the point situation and see how that played out. Rathwell, the timing was just a little bit off, it seems like. She was using that arrow power up. It did seem like it was used in order to try and get involved with that. But looking at the point situation, it does seem to be that looking at this, it's Catherine Monks with that 3 points. Grossman's there as well with 3, obviously, at that last one. Stephanie Clark, Whitney Post, Rachel Lieberman, and Stella Chen for ATP Venom. So Finesse Wahoo Chicks and Cyrus, they are outgunning so far ATP, but maybe ATP looking toward the end of the race and the big points that do come across.
I thought it was really cool, Nathan, that you highlighted the job that Finesse Wahoo Chicks have been doing. This is the team. Again, it's Canadians and Americans on the squad. Caroline Beaulieu, Danielle Baker. She's the American, Caroline Canadian. Monks, who we've already talked about, she's one of the breakthrough riders out here. I was just looking up, Nathan, to see what level Zwifter she was, because that was a experienced gamer move right there. A Zwift craft that she showed, dropping her power up at just the right time. Level 17 Zwifter. So kind of getting her legs underneath her, but clearly has a great head, talking about Catherine Monks, and great legs. Obviously a rider to watch. The Canadian Laura Perry on Finesse Wahoo Chicks, and Paige Bolt, the other rider I wanted to shout out, because they're a team on the rise. You called that one right. We're in with Cryo Gallopin right now. We're actually jumping around because this is going to be Sisu. I Race Like a Girl. with Post right now, but that group is much smaller, Nathan, much, much smaller than it was. I'm doing some inventory here. I see a decent amount of the blue of Finesse Wahoo. I saw 3 of the jerseys for Saris the Pros Closet, and I think ATP had 4. 1, 2, 4. Yeah, wow. Really, really reduced front group.
Yeah, Saris Pros Closet versus ATP versus Wahoo Chicks.
That's about
really
it.
where it's at.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
here.
Yeah.
Gallopin is here with at least one Sisu, and
Sisu's,
then BRT and Revo, I believe.
Cryo.
Do have a few
I see
in
a
there.
Cryo, but that's it. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, we got a long way to go as well, Nathan. This is it's 48K out here today. We've already got a major selection, and we have a lot of racing ahead of us. These women are having at it here. Battle Royale in France. Petit Boucle, the little circle. This was one of the routes used for Tour de France Virtual this year. And so much to look forward to as well. We were talking about the nations races, the World Championship for team time trialing on WTRL coming up this Thursday. Never been a better time to be out Zwifting. That's a rider I'm watching today. But ATP, Nathan, they're all about putting 4 in the top 10. Anna Radford is a big talent that we're starting to identify out here as well.
That's Wahoo now taking over at the front. This is going to be the next sprint point coming up pretty quickly here. Rachel Lieberman, she just continues.
So good.
She really likes to press the pace. It's always kind of the steady 4 watts per kilogram I see from her often. And whenever she does that, I do see quick responses from the rest of the squad, as you do see Despas coming on through. And then the rest of the Wahoo chicks looking to set up, making sure that there isn't any kind of funny business on the front for the rest of these points, because as it stands, we do have a good amount of points here on the table currently for Finesse Wahoo, and they probably want to continue that trend because this is going to be a deciding day. And I think today's a very important day for them for their overall in this series. And there is a lot on the line. Qualification to be able to be involved in the tournament to get the invite
sprint
to the
here.
Premier League. Here comes Isler. Now Saris the Pros Closet. Very early kick. I think on this one, I don't think anyone's coming back to this actually. 11 watts per kilogram. And they've shown up with a plan. That much is obvious. Grossman now going, and this plan has very well orchestrated.
Wow.
1, 2, 3. Grossman, Isler, Grossman, Russell in that order.
So just for a point of reference, then, that's going to give them 6 total points just on that bonus sprint, that preem sprint there. You start adding these up, and Nathan, they've already basically placed one rider in 12th place. You see what I'm saying? Like, the race hasn't finished, but they've already gotten the points for a 12th place finish, basically, in the bank.
Pretty amazing job done here. And
right, so that's almost like adding an imaginary ghost rider, right, into the front group that you know is going to score for you no matter what, because of the effort that they've made. So they might be dribs and drabs when you look at those points, but they do add up enough to make a mark, and certainly enough to make a difference. We talked about how, these points are added to the points from the finale, but oftentimes you'll see teams tied with points, so 1 point can make all the difference out there. Few riders getting tailed off a little bit after that last sprint. It looks like they're going to be able to rejoin the group. It's not so easy to do, but they backed off just a little bit. You can see the wattages down in the 2s and low 3s right now. And for these women, that is just ticking the legs over here. When they put the accelerator down on the floorboard, believe me, you'll know it here. Front group, Nathan, it's going to get smaller. But this is maybe the most aggressive, wouldn't you say, of all the racing that we've done today? I would say it's the most aggressive race we've seen.
I think it's really aggressive, and it goes to show how competitive the America's East is. I think that there's just a huge amount of, there's a lot of camaraderie. The teams take it really seriously. ATP, Finesse Wahoo, I Race Like a Girl, obviously Saris the Pros Closet, all very serious about their racing. And I just get this sense that you kind of get this perfect storm of teams sometimes that just want it that badly. And they show up not messing around. It isn't just throwing, just kind of rolling the dice. They're showing up with a plan. They've been doing the training. They have expectations. They show up and they do the work outside of the races as well. So it's cool to see. And I know, Anna Russell. She's got her whiteboard. She talks about it.
We
She's
love
about
Anna.
how she's got her whiteboard where she's explaining all of her Zwift racing tactics to her husband in the living room about how it's all going to work out. So she's a great DS and leader of that team, and I think that's showing is how they are taking down these sprint points. See if it pays off long term, because I have a feeling that ATP, they haven't really gone too hard for these. I think they're really focused on the race win, as well as stacking the podium. A lot of times they have done that in these scratch races. These points as bonus with those bonus points and points. Well, the points race is what it really is, but they really go for that scratch race across the line with the 40, 35, and 30 points there is on offer. So we'll see if that's how it works out, or perhaps Dave, they're thinking about the one section of course we've seen things completely blow apart, and that's that reverse Queen of the Mountain.
Yeah, it's interesting that there are no points there, no bonus points there, but you're right. We've seen explosions there. So Nathan, as we have everybody together here in the front group, I was just thinking this is the first of the two time zones where more or less everyone speaks the same language. When you look at Europe, Middle East, and Africa, it is real. Not everybody speaks English in Europe, that's for sure. But it is interesting now. Canadians, Americans, Australians, New Zealanders, for the most part, everybody's going to be good with English out here, and that communication shows amongst the teams as well. They're very, very organized. We were talking about Anna Russell earlier. Her direction with that Sarah's to Pros Closet team. I know that other teams have it as well. I was going to say invaluable, but it's one of just the core features of the team that I think some of the newer riders really appreciate, is getting to work with someone with so much experience. Although, as I look around, Nathan, am I only seeing? Oh, you know what? Remember that not every Sarah's to Pros Closet jersey is the yellow and green. A couple of them have an all green jersey, don't they? I just wanted to note that because I was kind of thinking it looked a little light on Sarah's Pros Closet, but a couple of the riders don't wear the same jersey. Just a heads up.
It's a great pickup there. Great pickup there, Dave, to notice that, because definitely something that was a question going through my head as well. So it does look like that is the situation currently. So they're going to be leaving this section, of course, and heading on over toward the intestines, which is the
is that what she
lines.
was saying? I didn't hear that part of the show. I know we both.
Yeah, that's what she was calling it.
In the
that
morning,
was what she was calling it.
Well, it's fitting. It so accurately describes you. I mean, once you see it, you'll see what she's talking about. It is super twisty.
Something I definitely want to know here over into the men's race, though. A little bit of a kick off the front here. They're about to hit the sprint section. Early moves. Shout out here if you follow along with anything in the esports world for Zwifting, you will have noticed a recent announcement from one of the top riders, and that would have been Sarah's the Pros Closet, Timmy Bauer, that has left the team. Well, I'm seeing Timmy with Finesse Wahoo Tea Party next to his name tonight, and in this race,
it didn't take him long, did it?
Not well. Of course it didn't. Of course it didn't.
He's the greatest guy. Yeah. I don't know what happened there as far as, teams change. And, I mean, I think we've all lost jobs that we loved, right, along the way. But Timmy's such a popular guy. Oh, man. All right. Well, we'll take a look at that one. Oh, boy. So this is going to leave a mark here back behind now. Let's see what we've got. Riders are going to be scrambling to make sure that they don't miss the train as it leaves the station. Huge group. Look how strung out it is now. And you can see riders getting tailed off the back. So there's a bit of a fight going on out here right now. Only 12.5K in. So that's the first of a few sprints that they've got to look forward to. Boy, it's hotting up out there in the men's and the women's race. An absolute Donnybrook. Nathan going back and looking. There's a replay here.
Right to the
what do you got?
There? So oof. I think it's going to be
top three score points.
I think Amato, and I'm going to say Butts were able to get that from endurance work. So let's take a look though at the back end API there, but that was a solid little sprint. Nice move by Scott. That's Scott to get away. Usually that doesn't happen through that section, of course. So
wow.
Very solid move. Nathan, and go ahead, Dave.
You don't see this. I was going to say, you don't see this very often as strung out as it is here. That's pretty rare with a group this large. This is a
and
real
that's
race
something I
going
really
on.
like about the Americas is that there's a lot of aggression. There's a lot of aggression. Actually, it's funny. The other day, I was in a Kiss 100 race. Typical American is what I was told because we like to early on in the race we're making some moves and stuff. And then I jumped in this past week. That was 2 weeks ago, and I jumped in this past week, and it was one of the Rowan King boys, and he was like, "Hey Nathan, can you just settle it down early on? Can we
That's
not do
funny.
that?" So, but
That's
and I think there is something to that. I mean, this is punchy. This is punchy as can be. They weren't even waiting to go here. They came into this screaming already, and now they're going to have to find a second win because Kroner here now 7.7.
yeah,
Bouchard
red alert.
Hall, Shane, is he going to have a kick? We're going to have to wait and see. Wadi Inc. now giving a little bit of a go. Bouchard Hall trying to hold on. Is ATP going to come to the top? What is he? Nato is there still as well. Purificati. Nope, it looks like Kroner's going to be able to hang on. Timed it really well. And it's really just a race of attrition because of the kind of pace they set into it there, Dave. It's not even a sprint. It's just who's got anything left in the tank to even like hobble across the line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, already the lactic acid has got to be pooling up in these legs. How can you not love KBH, Kevin Bouchard Hall, the working man's hero, without a doubt? Nathan, we were joking, but it's not a joke. I mean, he doesn't train but 5 hours a week on a good week as he's a dad, a ton of things going on, and he's able to more than keep his head above water as we take a look at Kronert here, just putting him in the hurt locker, no doubt about it. So, again, it's the points here, but it's really, Nathan, the damage that you do to a lot of riders as that group will be much smaller the next time we get everything back together and take a look at the state of affairs. You can see multiple splits have happened. Now, I expect typically today we've seen these groups again recovering, but not everybody's going to make it back this time, Nathan.
No, you do see a lot of stragglers going on here, but there's a large group right behind. Not going to really be going much of anywhere as we do see Reynolds here from Apex TAF making a little bit of a pull, 350 watts. That's going to make it happen, it looks like here. A little bit of a malfunction on the heart rate, I think. I think that he may be, I think his setup is most likely fine, but sometimes the heart rate, with the way that if anybody didn't know this, the heart rate monitor, sometimes if it's a little bit off, can read off. And the way the heart rate monitors actually predict what might be your heart rate based off of a reading every few, a couple of seconds or so. But we'll see if that does correct there because 102, I don't think that's happening at that 350 or so. But Reynolds does bring things back together, as you can see.
I've always thought those heart rate monitors have got a tough job with all of that. The sweat, whatever is in your sweat has got to be incredibly corrosive. I've heard many riders saying that they burn through heart rate monitors. I don't know what your experience is, Nathan, but it's certainly one of the many pieces of equipment that's challenging for our riders. It's not just as
my
simple.
Bikes quicker than heart rate monitors for some reason. I'm not sure why. Yeah.
We were having that when I first started commentating with you, Nathan. We talked about how often do you replace your chain, right? And it's interesting when you think about all of those dynamics of the bicycle itself and what they're up against. So, okay, well, this is a pretty good sized group right now. We were just talking about Kevin Bouchard Hall. I think, isn't that a fair title for him, the working man's hero?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of training that he's able to get done and the level he's able to race at. It also goes to show what kind of racing that is happening out on Zwift, how punchy it is a lot of times, and the shorter races. It's kind of cool how you can get some solid results. Maybe not race at the top level, without putting in the big hours. I think a lot of the Premier League, like pro type riders, perhaps have a little bit more, of that pure cycling. Not pure cycling. I shouldn't say that, but more of
but you're talking the guys that train 20 to 30 hours a week. 30 hours a week is massive block for a world tour rider. There's some guys on Zwift that do 30-hour weeks when they're building up, and then obviously you specialize and focus your efforts a lot more, right? But 15, 20 hours a week training. And that doesn't include everything that goes along with that, right? Preparing, getting your protein shakes ready. We always call that wheels rolling time in real life, right? But then there's all the, taking care of your bike and all the hygiene and everything you need to do to be a professional cyclist. It's a lot of work.
A ton of work that goes into it. That's for sure. It's at least a 40
Just
hour
mixing
week
bottles
job.
is a ton of work.
If you're doing 30 to 40 or 30, excuse me, 20 to 30 hours plus all the off the bike time. It's at least a 40 hours a week, that's for sure. So we
For
do have
sure.
a little bit of a move going off the front in the men's race. And then in the women's race, interesting enough, they are hitting the reverse KOM, Queen of the Mountain. At this point, we did see Sisu I raced like a girl with a couple of falling off now at this point. The pressure is on the front mainly, it looks like, from Revo as well as Finesse Wahoo chicks who do have a lot to gain on the day if they do get rid of anybody. But Sasha Pro's Closet are covering things very well, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. On the right-hand side of the screen, the men are coming into their sprint in just a moment here. But one rider off the front, that is going to be... who is this rider here in the red? It's going to be Polo Vila with St. Pierre.
No.
Now, as you can see.
There you
so
go.
that is an interesting name to see off the front. The Bikes and Beers kit.
Yeah, nice little gap right here. That's a deceptive shot, too, because they're on a 3% grade. Well, it's starting to flatten out right now. But yeah, certainly turning the screws, as they say, St. Pierre. We're looking at the Relays rider here. As a lot of...
8 watts per kilogram. Can he hold on? I think he might do it.
Nothing to draft. Yeah.
This is right to the line. Oh, my goodness. What a move. And just barely got it. I think he just barely got it. Wow. That was right to the line. I mean, they couldn't have been closer. The turn of speed was coming in from calm there, it looks like, I believe.
Nothing's worse, Nathan, than doing all of that work and then getting pipped at the line. That is a hard. He held on. Well, the back end API, it never lies. That's the T-shirt that I'm making for everybody for Christmas this year. But here we go, taking a look at the replay right now. So St. Pierre's been out there for quite a while, and again, the pictures show us that he got it.
I think he got it. Yeah. It looks like he's got it, but we'll have to wait and see. The tent. I thought the tent was going to disrupt everything.
The tent was, yeah.
It was giving us this, nope, not going to have it here. Anyways, so let's
great job on the producing there.
The women's
so Monks is a superstar, Nathan. I've just decided this is a rider that if all of what we've seen in the 7 of 10 races, she's one that really stands out to me on this Finesse Wahoo team. You can see now they're pressing here. Few riders just trying to hold on, trying to latch on to this group. And boy, it's really crazy what happens mentally. So Annabella Stoll-Desereau here, the Ceres rider, Ceres the Pros Closet. She's already won out here and one of the real talented riders in our field as well. She's tucked nicely in the group here as we look at the strong women. Rachel Lieberman is a monster, absolute monster. And Finesse Wahoo covering well. That's going to be Grossman. She's having one of her best rides throughout the series. Oval as well.
Now,
so, all right, stringing it out.
Dave, about how it's such a small group early on with all of the moves that were happening, and it's not getting any better as we have riders dropping like flies now. So you can see Eastler now off the back, as you can see Perry. This is not somebody Finesse Wahoo who wants to lose. They need her to get across right now. Everything she's got. They absolutely need to bring every Finesse Wahoo chick they can across the line. Who's putting the pressure on? It's her teammate that's making this happen. So, on the front here, Bolto and Monks are giving a go, but they're going to lose one of their own riders. So is it going to pay off for it?
Holy cow, it is pandemonium. So, Nathan, I don't know what to expect. In all honesty, this is like a well-written Hollywood plot now, because I don't know how many riders are going to make it back. Well, this is it, what we're looking at. It's not even, it's 10 riders now that are going to be here in the front group. This is where the majority of the points are. It's all coming down to the line right now. This is going to be Anna Russell that we're jumping in with here, as Anna Russell's trying to chase her away. She will get back in, and Nathan slammed the door behind her, put a padlock on it, because Russell will be the last rider to join, I believe. You can see a couple more riders back there. I think they might be a little far back. Certainly I'm pulling for them, Nathan. But I don't know, as Russell rejoins here, that anyone else is going to be able to what she just did. That's a feat of strength for sure. So, folks,
just barely, too. That was just barely happened.
30 more seconds, and I don't know that even Anna Russell would be able to rejoin, to tell you the truth. It's that on the line. So this is it. We're locked and loaded. Not a drill here. This is big-time bike racing on Petit Bouclin. They're inside of 20K to go. Been past a couple of the pinch points, and look at the damage that it's done. You know, Nathan, the team that's having the outstanding ride has got to be Saris the Pros Closet here today. Wahoo Finesse Chicks looking good. ATP Venom not having an outstanding moment right now. 2 of 10 I'm seeing.
Oh, so look at this. Look at this, Dave. Just a real quick on the men's side of things. Just real quickly. And oh, poor guy. So it does look like on the men's side of things, the for the bonus points, it was Kama that was able to take down those
No
points.
way. He got it, so the API
he got nipped at the line because you see Martin St. Pierre there for 2 points there. So nipped at the line there. That turn of speed coming from Connor Cam was pretty intense. You saw how quickly he came on shooting out from the main pack. It was a good go for Martin St. Pierre, but got 2 points still. So solid ride there for Rulers Polo Velo. So that's the situation here with
you know what? It could be worse. It's only 1 point in the big scheme of things, and he's certainly showing a lot of heart. And I think that is why, folks, when what we see on screen, because you could say, look, I saw for a fact that St. Pierre was in front. Well, yeah, you did. You're correct. But what we do then is go back and look at the real data. And that's where we find out that, because we can only show one image to everybody, but that image sometimes is going to have, as you were talking about the heart rate monitors, they anticipate. I think there's a little bit of anticipation with what we show on the screen. So I don't want to go too deep into it because this is great racing going on right now. Look at this, Nathan. Finesse Wahoo all over the front here. We got ourselves a real raid going on here.
Yeah, speaking of raid, I do have the team car race men's A currently. I actually just jumped into their Discord here. They want my birthday for some reason.
Sounds cool. I was wondering what you were listening to.
Yeah. Well,
happy
just
birthday.
Into some music. Happy birthday. They want my birthday. Okay, what's my email? No, I don't need to tell you all this stuff. Okay. Anyways, so we're gonna see if we can jump in with them here. We're gonna have to turn some things up though if we're gonna get it.
Which team, Nathan?
So this is going to be the Finesse Wahoo team car.
The blue.
We're going to get a little bit of a listen.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit of a listen in on how things are going in here. Current situation, they are, as you can see, making some moves right now on this intestines a little bit.
This is a historic moment for us. We've never really been able to do this. I really appreciate you trying, Nathan, to listen in to the communications that the team has. We've talked about, and Nathan, you tell me to be quiet the second you have them there. But theoretically, they must have been talking before they initiated, which was clearly a strategic move here. They put the whole team on the front.
Yeah, and Tenselhoff is, I believe, giving a DS for them out there today. I'm just going to double check.
2K at a time.
Let's see if Alex is racing or not, though. I'm not positive. It's going to be difficult to see. If he is, it's going to be hard to DS that as well. Now, this is going to be the team with Jordan Shane, professional rider there for Elevate, who's now making his way to the front, as you can see. And a little bit of a good to see you guys. I am actually hanging out in the channel. Good to see you guys are all live for broadcast. No swearing in baseball. It's like no crying, but appreciate you guys letting us jump in with you all. Of course, it does look like Jordan's on the attack. We don't need too much unless there's a DS here that wants to reveal any top secret sauce. Besides that, we're just going to jump in here and there and see how things are going.
Sounds awesome, dude. Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, no worries. It's Matt Newsborn, it looks like, and Alex. Alex, are you actually racing right now while trying to DS a little bit?
Yeah, I actually DS during the PTTs too while I race.
Oh gosh!
Wow.
That is huge. That is absolutely huge. Yeah, that's to a whole new level of suffering. Well, we'll jump back in here and there, guys. We appreciate you letting us into the team car, maybe closer to the finish to see how things are playing out. But I appreciate you guys giving us access.
Thank you.
So that's.
I think it's fair to say.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say, Nathan, both you and I are big fans of Jordan Shane. He is a young man. I'm going to say Jordan is 23, maybe 24 years old, lives up in British Columbia in Canada. But when you go back to the very origins of Zwift, the beta days, he was a person that I think he's 15 years old, or maybe a little older than that, but just said, oh, that sounds fun, and hopped on. And you know him from riding in the very first days of Zwift, don't you?
Yeah, original beta days. Been riding with Jordan for a long time and been commentating on Jordan for a very long
He's
time.
a great
it's
kid.
very awesome to see.
Yeah.
If he's able to grab, I mean, there'll be something extra special if he grabs those world champion, the bands. I mean, he could too.
He could.
He's got the experience, I think, to do it.
You know, that's a really good example of someone who, in real life, he races for the Elevate KHS team. He's done the American circuit for a few years. He's really finding the limelight with what he's doing with his esports and making the most of the COVID lockdown. And even better than that, we're going to jump back in. But again, watch out for Jordan Shane and his Finesse Wahoo team today. They're clearly on a roll right now. We're going to jump in. There's a women's edition of Finesse Wahoo, and I tip my cap to the teams that have both the men's and women's squad.
Here, Dave,
but this is the women.
Listen up.
You can do it in 25 if you're going Hell's Bells.
Here we go. So as you hear, if you're going Hell's Bells, you can do it in 25. We hear from the DS right now, and they're talking. This is the Finesse Wahoo team car for the women's side of things. That is going to be Ryan McGee, who's DSing them, telling Paige to give it a go, it looks like. We can see if they can hold on. And this is awesome to hear the encouragement there coming through from the DS.
Well, they're responding.
Nice, girls. You're going to have to fold all the way through. You do have some chasing.
It's real quiet there, which is a good. I like it that it's calm in there, and then it does look like Monks and Bolt pull it off there with a little bit of help from their DS. So very cool to see. If we'll get it a little bit louder if we can there, everybody, but a little bit of an insight about how things are working in those team cars. Very calm and collected, not too much excitement there, but maybe that's the way to run it sometimes. Now there's going to be another run in just a second here with Sarson Postcott coming over the top, but looks like some good motivation or planning even.
Yeah, well, and also informative, clear, motivating. That's calm. That's what you want. That both of those were very good examples of how you do it. I'm impressed, and we'll continue to work on that. It's incredibly cool, Nathan, that the teams are willing to help us with that feature. So Sarah's the Pros Closet. They're going to be in the green and yellow and a couple of the green jerseys. Annabella Stoll-Desereau, one of the Canadians on the team, is absolutely a danger woman. I see, though, ATP continues to have Anna Radford here. She's a talent, no doubt about it. The Australian in the gray. It's mostly gray and white. You can see a little bit of orange, a little flash of orange every now and then. Rachel Lieberman, we've talked about that monster. Absolutely going to be part of the conversation. What a select group we're looking at, down to about 12K to go, Nathan. This is going to be incredibly fun. This is what you sign up for as a bike racing fan, to see a group of this quality, so much on the line. And I think I want to go back, Nathan, very quickly. ATP with 116 total points. They're in pretty good shape in the overall lead, 7 of 10 races. This is the 7th that's wrapping up right now in front of our eyes. The real battle is going to be Finesse Wahoo Chicks, the team in blue, and Sarah's the Pros Closet in the green and yellow. As there's only 1 point separating those teams for second. And we do talk about the teams that advance out of this division up into the Premier League that races on. That's the big time. This is Community League, which is big time as well. This is the A's. I mean, there's a very high level. Some of the most talented riders in the world are with us. But Rachel Lieberman, I'm going to throw it back to you, Nathan, as Lieberman is starting to put the accelerator down on the floorboard now. They're responding. You can't mess around.
Bolt
going to be another
and
sprint.
Wahoo again, timing it, and it's really it was that feather power up, and I'm getting the feeling that Finesse Wahoo have put in something special together here, because that is, I think, they've scored in every one, and that's maybe the second or third that they've taken the top points for. So ATP maybe not coming to the table with quite as much homework at this point as the effort that they've been putting in. And there's been some real organization, I think, in this team in the last couple of weeks.
I thought that was the methodology that we were going to see from Sarah's to Pros Closet today. They went out early for some of those bonuses. And it looks like this one is really going back and forth, but you can see Monks is the queen of the day when it comes to collecting points there. Christina Grossman having a great day. She's picked up 5 points herself. So, and these are the two teams now, Finesse and Saris, that are fighting for second. You can see the ATP hasn't been that concerned about it. Nathan, Stephanie Clark with 2 points there. She's been the top points gatherer. So it really has been Saris the Pros Closet and Finesse.
I got to jump in here, Dave.
Go ahead.
Ward is on the attack, and
oh boy,
this is great to see. Look at Zwart here over the top of the King of the Mountain right now. Getting a response, though, pretty quickly here from Wahoo. They do not want to let him go. Great to see. Supersonic a little bit off the front, perhaps. No, this is off the back. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to have to move my way back forward there. Sometimes it wraps on itself there on the riders nearby. Cam now coming over the top. I thought Zwart was going to walk away a little bit with this. Quite the bunch coming over here. And so it looks like it's going to come back together.
Wow.
Perhaps. This is a tough spot, though, because it goes into a pretty steep downhill very quickly. At 6%, can end up with a big gap quickly here. Tenselhoff's out the back. Jordan Shane, is he in trouble? That would be really surprising.
This is probably outside of the steepest of the climbs, the easiest point to get dropped in the bike race right here, this kilometer, Nathan.
St. Pierre, Schneider, Royal City. Nope, Campbell actually here, along with Chudik there. 3 seconds off the back. They could get back if these 6 riders work together. It's going to be a serious fight. Oh, it's 4, it's 5. It's going out quickly here. Shane, what is happening?
This is going to be the race. No, he can't be. He can't be. He needs to get up into that group right now. Come on, Shane. Let's get up there. This is Jordan Shane that we're looking at now. One of the riders that
there's plenty left in his legs. He's waiting for those boys. That's what's going on here. It's got to be what's going on here. Look at this.
It just seems like such a risk.
It's a
just seems like
risk.
such a. I can't advise, and I don't know anyone would ever advise this if he is waiting. Oh boy.
I mean, look at his heart rate. It's not something I would expect. At 154 beats per minute now. He's got the watts. Look at him. He's got the watts. This is a waiting. He is playing the team mate at this point, and they are going to work together for full gas.
Here's the other thought, Nathan, is that he thought, oh boy, me trying to do this alone is going to be too much. If I wait for these guys, I can get some help and do it.
Look at how far out it's gone at this point. They're not waiting in any way whatsoever. ODZ. I mean, this kind of quality up here. And how much time have they gained now at this point? 10, 15 seconds? That's going to be a monstrous gap to close down.
And you look at it, Nathan, too. If you're going back to get those guys, you're talking about 25th to 30th place back in that second group, right? It's just not worth it. So unfortunately, that is not ideal for the Finesse Wahoo team right now. To take some inventory up in this front group.
The only thing I would wonder here, Dave,
come back.
Is whether or not there's some big sprint, like is there a sprinter or two back there that couldn't make the climb? Like somebody who's just got an amazing turn of speed. If they can somehow get them back involved, that it will matter across the line. That's the only thing I could think of in this situation.
Yeah. I hear you. And there's always things sometimes that you just don't know. So, but I agree. This is bananas out here. What a race. So these guys coming up on 32K in. We're going back to that chase group now. Boy, there's a lot of Wahoo in this group, Nathan. So...
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it was a smart move or anything, or it's the move to be made.
No, I'm with
you.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Jordan going to the front with 6 watts per kilogram. That's his job at this point, it looks like, is to bring these bodies back because they need to get them. And maybe, I'll tell you what,
if he does, that'll be one of...
This is what I'd say to this here, Dave, is that maybe they know that their race won't matter without these bodies there. Maybe that's what it comes down to, is it's like we need to have these guys there to get these points. So, but I mean, I also, there's not a whole lot for them to risk. Let's take a look at the standings here again real quick. There's also this reality. So I have a feeling that the risk isn't huge because they're sitting at 119 and they trust that this is going to come back.
Perhaps. It doesn't even. And at the end of the day, Nathan, right, for these guys, they're not really being threatened for the overall.
They've sent another one back. They just keep throwing.
I agree. This will go down if they can pull this off. You have to say that it shows some incredible resolve. I think that you're right, Nathan. I think that they really are going to try to bring the whole team back here. And if they do, this is really going to be one of the moments I'll remember from this season.
Talk about domination coming from Vanessa.
It would really be unheard
they just
of.
Control the race.
And they're going to do it. I honestly think they're going to do it now. This defies all logic, but it shows you what will is all about.
Amazing.
So what is the gap here then that they're going to have to close now? This is probably the 11 seconds, or pretty much the benchmark time, right? Or is it more like 16? No, it's
16.
11. It's 11.
Yeah, it's like 10, 11 seconds. You can almost see them at this point, I believe. So looking back here, they're within sight. You just barely see the avatars coming within sight around that last corner. So
it's not going to be about running out of course. They've got more than 15 or 15K to do it.
On the front like, no, don't let Shane back on. See, the countrymen, they're like, do not let Shane back on. They probably race against each other on the National Pro Circuit in Canada, and he's like, do not let Shane get back involved here. Racing each other in real life, racing each other virtually here. Pierre Ficati presses the pace.
He's another one of the originals, right, Nathan? Going way back, Pierre Ficati, that you raced with.
He won the first. He won the first race with a move with 1 lap to go on the Richmond Worlds course against GP Llama in Las Vegas, for one of the first esports events, live esports events in Las Vegas. Actually, he made a move with 1 lap to go. 2015-16 time. That's when this was, and flew them all in. People from all over the world flew in, and he made a move with 1 lap to go and was able to hold off literally. So the pack let him go. They chased for the entirety of the lap. On Governor Street, Llama came flying out of a pack and tried to make it happen. And he got nipped still by like a wheel length by Pierre Ficati, who just barely held on in a race of attrition.
Are you recording another podcast tonight?
No podcast tonight. It's a good question, but no podcast tonight. We
love the Zwift cast with Simon and the Llama. And Nathan. It's awesome. You learn a lot about it. So, all right, Nathan. So the women out there, they've got to be getting pretty close to their finale. As the guys at about 35K in. It's kind of calmed down a little bit now. As we're going to be watching closely to see if Jordan Shane can bring back. So this is the chase.
Just got him right there. The question's going to be what's going to happen. Back. But we're hitting this.
At least 3 of them are going to get back.
They're going to have to kick so hard over the top of this because there's going to be a battle right here for the points at the top. ATP and ODZ Dirt are here as well. And they're going to be kind of at the limit when they hit this aqueduct. So it'll be interesting to see if they press too hard. They're going to drop the riders that are just trying to hang on to that chase at this point. So we'll see how that ends up playing out.
They're going to lose a few. They're going to lose a few. I think if they have 3 or 4 of the Wahoo guys that get back, or let's just say right now, let's take a note of this moment because we do have a sprint bonus coming up. So the top 3 will collect some points here. That's going to be sorted out right now. But now we'll go back to the story of the bike race and what's happening with Finesse Wahoo, the team in blue that sent a lot of resources back to get some teammates. And we'll see if they're going to be able to bring them up because this is where typically the race really starts to blow up, Nathan. We'll see how much recovery we can see. It's a big moment right now for sure.
20 seconds up still, and there's going to be another sprint in just a moment. So I think because of that, we may see some struggling here. The women are, women are heading on over toward, they're 43K in, so they've got a little ways to go still yet before they hit their final sprint. We're sticking with the women here in just a moment. Sticking with the men,
Nathan, I have to say,
head into their sprint section here.
This could backfire significantly for Finesse Wahoo today. When you look at it, they still have enough guys in this front group, though, that they're not going to fall further than 5th place on the team, meaning they should collect at least 15 points out here. But right now, it's not looking like the situation that I would want to be in with 12 kilometers of racing remaining.
Yeah,
it's the front group that we're looking at.
I think, though, that it's going to calm down plenty after this sprint, though. Depends, though. It'd be interesting to see if they send everybody back. They could chase it down, most likely, but they're going to leave Timmy Bauer in here. Bauer most likely
putting all your eggs in a basket.
Yeah,
I would not do that. Yeah, yeah. But you're right. I mean, that would be, wow, what a heavy-handed play that would be to do that. That would have so many people just dropping their jaw. But I agree with you. If they did, they probably could. But boy, that's not where you want to be. Again, as we hit this cobblestone section here, and ATP all over the front, just swarming right now. ATP having a really good ride here on the men's side of things.
Cryogen 13 watts per kilogram here. Cryogen with Jay Frank walking away a little bit. Ruler's trying to come to the line. It looks like, I believe, St. Pierre was able to grab it from ATP just a moment ago, but that was a solid sprint there from both of them. ATP and Cryogen were battling with Rulers to the line.
Look how it ratchets the speed up, Nathan. They were going 51, 52K per hour. That chase group's going to have a hard time maintaining that kind of speed through this sector. They're going to give up. They're not going to make it back.
Looking back,
it's going to be touch and go, man.
35 seconds. That's a big gap. You're right
not
there.
Coming back. That's it. Yeah, that's an interesting play, but definitely remember it's a team sport here. You're scored on all the points that your team collects, and there's a lot of points that are back behind our front group. There's just a handful left after we finish the Vanguard group, so we're going back and looking at that's chasing riders that we're looking at now. Ay, ay, ay. That's what the Belgian commentators would say on Sporza. Oi, 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 oi. That's when it's not good for you, when you hear them say oi, oi, oi.
4.6, 161. And maybe Jordan not having a good day, perhaps? Or I'm not sure. Interesting enough to see. They're not bringing this back any longer. And now it's all
Bye-bye.
Up to... Yeah. And, well, here's the thing. The new pickup, Timmy Bauer, I have a feeling he has been sitting and waiting for a moment. I've gone to the line with him in some sprints, and the guy's got quite the kick.
He's going to go animal. He's going to go absolutely animal.
And we haven't seen him stick his nose in the wind once, and he's got some probably a little bit of like pent up frustration, little something to prove. Exactly. Okay, yeah. I'm going to go and show everybody what it's worth here and get Finesse Wahoo up on that podium today.
Nathan, you can use that against an athlete as well when you're telegraphing exactly what you're going to do. But every now and then, a force of will. And we're going to go back now and look at Frank Cryogen here, as this was the sprint that happened just a couple of minutes ago. So that replay showing us how we score the top three. That's where all the points are.
I'm wondering who got it there. I think St. Pierre, but we'll have to wait for the API. But it looks like
fun racing tonight, huh? Yeah, I have to say, this has been awesome. Both races going on here with the men and the women have been fantastic.
Very nonstop action, that's for sure. Back in with the men and the women now. Women are heading over that final bridge. They are into the last 2K or so, 2.5K. This is almost 48K in total. We're down to 9 riders still on the back here. 44 seconds back to CCR Race Like a Girl with Yates and a few others on the chase, but they're not going to see the front end of this race again. I did see Revo on a little bit of attack there for a moment. Was that right? No, right back into the pack here as we do see Megan Rathwell out of Canada taking over toward the front.
Yeah, you can see the women's group quite a bit smaller as they're now 2 kilometers from the finish here. If you haven't been watching any of the other races today in the other time zones, this finish comes at you incredibly quickly. There's that hard right-hand turn, Nathan, about 100 meters from the line, and then boom, it's there. So threading the needle when you talk about timing this sprint here, looking at the riders who left, I mean, I have to think Lieberman right now. When I look, Stoll, if it was a climb, if we were going uphill at the finish line, I would be looking at Annabella Stoll-Desereau. But this one's got Lieberman written all over it for me. Monks has been fantastic, however. The rider in blue, the breakthrough star, I would say, one of the breakthrough stars in our ZRL community. I mean, just a fantastic rider. But, yeah, Rachel Lieberman's got to be right now champing at the bit.
Yeah, and I'm seeing Anna Russell giving some chat, actually. Booyah, Saris. Oh, gosh. Maybe we can get Anna to jump into a little bit of a chat afterwards as well.
That'd be fun.
I am seeing her hanging out in Discord for our talent broadcasting channel here. So we'll see if what Anna's got, but she's still involved here. Obviously, she needs to focus. That's for sure.
No doubt. She is such a multitasker. You know the other rider, Jennifer Santoyo, Nathan, that I'd be watching here?
Power-ups already.
Sure.
Power-ups already. This is early for power-ups.
Interesting there. Right. Well, they're going to be galloping within seconds now as we're inside of 1K to the finish.
Rathwell with an early attack,
Who
it
goes
looks like
first?
here. Interesting enough to see.
Interesting.
Now it's going to be Devo Despas now. Riva whips on the front now. Here comes Rathwell. Rathwell's got an arrow power up. It looks like she's going to be the bait, I think, as Stoll is actually the one that they're looking to send to the line. There goes Stoll. 10 watts per kilogram. Arrow power up here coming from Stoll. She's off the front. Will she be able to hold on? I think she's done it, but it's right to the line. Both trying to come on through, but no, it's going to be Annabelle Stoll with the kick. She makes it happen with the gap to the line. She's got enough room to put her hands in the air, but was Russell able to do it too? We'll have to wait for the situation for Anna Russell there. She may have gotten that. Let's take a quick little look at this replay. What a kick to the line, though. Amazing racing coming from the women.
You got to give Annabella's credit there. So she is the true triple threat. She can win in a breakaway. She can win going uphill. She can win sprinting out of a small group. All right. Well, there is no ceiling on the ability for Annabella Stoll-Desiro here. As we're going to watch, Nathan, you put it up, the comment, as she had a clean rear wheel there. We could have used a sundial
move here from Rathwell, and this was very well coordinated. Actually, there was 3 goes. And this was actually a 3-part attack. So that's why I'm rewinding it here, because you see 3 different riders.
Tiers, kind
of. Yeah, exactly. Because look who's on the front here. Sorry, it's the pros closet. Early power-up. Kind of baiting something out. You see that? Then Finesse is all of a sudden there on the front. Oh, look at this. Here comes Rathwell with an arrow. But no, it's not actually about Rathwell. Rathwell is baiting the rest of the pack to put down their orange numbers. While look at where Stoll is. 5th wheel, arrow power up thrown, 10 watts per kilogram. There's the boost. And she took all the speed from the rest of the riders who pulled her to the front, actually. The other team, they used them. And Stoll got a huge gap, perfectly timed. They get first across the line. That's 40 points. And then Monks, she's had quite the day, but I don't know. That was close, but I think Monks got her. I think Monks got Anna, but Anna still, I don't know. We'll have to wait for the API to tell us. Maybe
the back-end API. Yeah, don't let your eyes. That doesn't tell you, even though it looks like it was Russell there. We'll see. Nathan, I have to say, the team put the bait in the trap, and the other riders took it, as Annabella then ends up benefiting from not only her strength and timing, but a well-executed team strategy there. That is how it's done, a virtual clinic. Well, let's see who's going to pull it off on the men's side of things. We don't have time to even take a breath here, because this is going to be the men, Nathan, at about, let's say, 5K to go, a little more than 5K of racing until this one is done and dusted. Timmy Bauer is still in there. You can only imagine, Nathan. There's hundreds of people who are going to be pulling for Timmy here today. He's got a huge fan base out there. One of the most popular riders on the esports platform. I mean, he's the kind of guy that makes Zwift. He brings the community to the community.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely awesome to see all the family posts, cycling posts. He does it all, it seems like. Really, really great. Amazing to have him. And in the Monks and Mason community. And if you don't follow Timmy on all the socials, you're missing out. That's for sure.
You're missing out. Absolutely.
A great content.
You know, some people just exude cool positivity without being phony about it, right, Nathan? And I think that's exactly what Timmy is it's very genuine, but it certainly is inspiring too. So let's hope that a good guy can finish first out here today. There's a lot of riders who say, hey, I'm a good guy. I'm a really good guy, and I'm also working hard, and I would love to win this bike race along with my team, put a lot of riders up in the top 10. Talked about that today, Nathan, as well. When you come across the line and win, that's just the beginning of the story. You look around immediately and say, how did my teammates do? Because for the team to win, you got to see a couple jerseys just like yours up in the top 10.
Yeah, and what I really like, too, is that he's representing a new team out here today. So it'll be interesting to see if that does have a little extra motivation. We haven't seen any moves, really. Everybody just really waiting, I think, at this point for that final kick. And there's been a lot of learning lessons throughout the day, I think, with this specific section of course. It is something that's pretty cool. Each run-in is so specific. It's so incredibly specific. So
Boy, you really need to recon, Nathan. Doing your homework out here, watching other categories.
I'm trying to think of a comparison to in real life,
Well,
because I'm not sure, like, with how...
I could use one for you. Just Downers Grove, the famous criterium there in part of the old Super Week thing. If you didn't know how to race that last corner, you had no chance of winning that race. You needed to know where in the group you needed to be, how to take the corner. Same thing here. You really do need to time this one perfectly.
Anna,
sounds like, is that Anna Russell?
Anna Russell. Wow, that was completely awesome timing by the team. It looked like I called it a 3-tier attack to bait out that initial push, put them on the front for a moment. Then I saw Stoll go, but not Stoll. Rathwell went with an arrow power up, it looked like. And that baited out the real pole to get a lead out train from the other teams, and then Stoll over the top at the right moment, it looked like. Really well done there, Anna, it looked like. At least that was my take on it.
I mean, Discord was going crazy. I'm the triathlete in the group, but all the girls raced together on bikes in real life, so they knew, like, what to do. So Esther led out. She upped the pace. We all stayed on her. She drew out some attacks from Wahoo, and as soon as Wahoo went, we all just head down, went nuts.
Down and wet nuts. That's where it's at right there. Absolutely love it, Anna. And you guys had a great race, obviously, out there. Everything worked out. We'll get the results up in just a moment here. We've got the men making their way to the line. They're within about 2 or 3K, so we're going to jump into that action, Anna. But thanks a lot. Great to get the inside scoop on how it went down and head down to the line. We'll be remembering that one, Anna.
Sweet. Thanks, Nathan. Catch ya.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers.
They could have moved themselves within, 3 points if things went really well. It's probably going to be likely that they're 4 points behind ATP when that one is sorted out, but that's going to be the Kiwi, Anna Russell, joining us. They pinned their ears back, Nathan. Let's see who's going to do it for the men as we got Pierre Ficati, obviously going to be a part of the story here as some late race attacks. We're honing in on 2K to go. ODZ rider, Pierre Ficati, the Canadian here. They're going to cover this one.
Yeah,
ATP.
Interesting enough to see. I mean, ATP are covering it. They've got the numbers to do it. Wouters Wort comes right over the top here. Now, Cam, they're not going to, once they made this catch and there's a gap, will they take advantage of it? It looks like they're going to do exactly that. 2 off the front now. One can just sit in. Welded back together, though, as you would say here, Dave. And that means that the riders that are on the back end of all of this are getting the most advantage. As those sitting in from Wahoo Finesse are just trusting, be on the watch out. Alex here, Tenselhoff, as well as Usborn, both have big sprints. Timmy Bauer sitting in there as well. Finesse Wahoo, even after losing half of their team after that, still so many riders in here. They're going to be able to take this down.
Yeah, not many teams have 3, and that's what Finesse Wahoo has right now, including, they're in the hunt, no doubt about it. ATP looking really, really solid. And you have to say now that with the scenario that we're looking at, it's going to be incredibly interesting to see if anybody can get 3 riders in the top 6 here. The charge is on. All right, this is it. It's the finale. This is going to be brilliant.
Now Reed to the front here, 7 watts per kilogram coming from him. Well, who's going to make the first play? Usually it's been a team that's trying to bait something out. Finesse Wahoo toward the front a little bit here. Looks like a little bit of calmer situation, though, from these riders.
I don't know that these guys are going to fall for it, Nathan. Yeah, it's a different group, isn't it? A little bit larger, some very savvy sprinters out here. Nobody wants to show their cards. They all know that it's easy to go too early, and nobody wants to make the mistake of going too late. Everybody looking, they are really keeping their powder dry here. Amazing to see us. Well, we're less than half a K from the finish line, and nobody's initiated their sprint yet. It's a ticking time bomb, though. Any second now, someone is going to go, and when they go, it's going to be absolutely ballistic. And there it is, Nathan. That's the moment the sprint has started.
Yep, and it's going to be heard here. Cryo RDT meme team now to the front with around 12, 13 watts per kilogram coming from him. Here come the arrow power-ups. 15 watts per kilogram from Get Swifty and the meme team. He's got the arrow. Pierre Ficati with the truck. It's not going to be able to hang on, but Pierre Ficati, he has still got the kick. Will it come across to the line? He's going to draw it out. Pierre Ficati makes it happen. What a kick there from Pierre Ficati. Wow, and
He's the new boss. It's the same as the old boss.
Wow, that brought back memories right there. Pierre Ficati. That is a good awesome one. I'm absolutely loving it. Great job by Justin there.
This
ODZ
man-
in the house.
Purificati has been winning at the highest level on this esports platform that we love so much in the Zwift world. He's been doing it since day one out there. The boss back in full effect.
I almost wish I had a replay from like the old school Pierre, like the exact same thing coming through here.
That's when we were on, using the Commodore 64 hookup to race, right? It's a while ago. Technology's come a long way.
What a kick
Think
to the
about
line
that,
there.
Nathan. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things have changed.
I was not.
Sure.
I thought for sure Meme Team had that, but Justin, he just he had the extension of the kick there to the line. So
using that power up really well too.
Jimmy Bauer, I think coming through for like 5th or 6th there. So Wahoo's still able to pull something off, but ODZ, they didn't have the numbers though. So 40 points is going to matter, but they did not have the numbers at the end of the day, though, I don't think, to get the exactly the result that they would need. You know, and at least to take the day. So, all right, Dave, let's go ahead and take a look here at some of the results as they were coming on in. We do have the women's results. I am getting, I am hearing that we do have a Mr. We're going to maybe head on over to the men's side of things on the B category. I'm being told that there is some familiar names hanging out in the B category. Actually, we'll see if we can find them out here. As I believe the ZHQ boys.
Yeah. That monster Beckett. He's been having some big rides out there. I didn't get my alert that Lalonde was racing. He's another one of the talents that they brought in, a big engine. See what we've got. This is going to be our B's front group. There he is, the monster himself, Steve Beckett.
He's on the chase. He is actually on the chase.
They're
I believe
chasing.
This is going to be the front group here. As Lunen's coming to the line, unless there's a couple up ahead. Going into the finish line.
They're close to the finish, too.
Yeah, Matthias
this is
here from Cryogen. Brett's from Pay Dirt, it looks like, as well as the Dirty Ducks. The B category, always with some of the best names. The Dirty Ducks with Murawski.
Maybe the best, actually. Yeah, I think that the most creativity shines through with these guys. All right, well, we've joined at the perfect time here. We're going to find out who the fastest riders are in the B category. You can see they've done a lot of sorting out to get here, but this is really basically 1K to go right now. Group of about, I'd say, 25 riders.
And this is the setup section we've been talking about over and over again. I
think these guys got the memo, Nathan. They've probably watched enough and raced out here enough that they know that the timing is critical here.
Look at that arrow power up from the Wahoo. What is going on? That was essentially not doing much of anything there from the Wahoo rider.
That's when you accidentally put your cliff shot down on your keyboard or something. Not ideal.
And 8.1 watts per kilogram. Here comes the kettle pop about to come on through with the corn. And
they're going.
I think at 12 watts per kilogram, it might be an ODZ back to back. Here comes Dirt, though, with a 10 watt per kilogram. Owens. Is Owen going to make it happen? Owens is going to make it happen. Looks like the Dirty Ducks to the line with the flying V. Maybe not, as it's Gorham.
Whoop.
Over the top from BMTR.
Heck yeah.
Whoa, what is that leg shot? That was... The timing was just a little off. There was some turn of speed there, but it didn't end up happening. As we do have OTR with Larson just trying to bring it in to the finish line.
It's worth noting all the different ability levels that race out here. I saw some comments, Nathan, online about folks who raced earlier in the day in the C category expressing how much they loved racing with riders at their ability level. And I could not agree more, is that feeling of riding in a group of more than 50 riders when they're all about your ability is so much fun. You don't have to win the bike race to walk away feeling exhilarated. That's the name of the game out here, getting people jazzed up and really enjoying the Zwift platform. And racing is just one of the subsets, one of the really cool things that you can do out here. And another big sprint coming up. These guys can smell the finish line now. There's that arrow power up now. That's going to be deployed a little bit early. They're going to use it against him here. Some Tai Chi, as it looks like Butler is hit out with authority. But Nathan, they're coming behind him. They're coming. Oh, boy.
Marson, it looks like, going to be able to make it happen. Oh,
Damn.
too early. Butler gave just a little
headband and
too
the
much
beard.
too early. And
Yeah.
Dirt was able to pull it off across the line.
He's a rhino, man. Rhinos don't miss. Is that Beckett moving up to the front right now as we take a look at the orange jersey? This
I
is
see what kind of a sprint Beckett's got when the pressure's on.
He's
Come
got
on
a
now,
nasty,
Steve.
nasty kick. They say he's calf-like. Oh, an attack going there, Nathan. Let's see if they can cover that. It's going to be Seraph, ODZ rider. He's hit out now. Watch this. They're going to try to reel him in.
Will ODZ be able to pull off the jump here is going to be the question. ATP Neon, though. Oh, and he's even got a feather power up. He waited.
Oh, my goodness. He had a foul bill, man.
Here comes Lee now. ATP Neon, not going to be happening, it looks like, as
Oh, boy.
Neon is just a lead-out man as well. Here comes Course now from WTRL. This is a mess of a sprint
bananas.
situation
It is
here, all
bananas
over the
out
place. Where is the rest of this squad? All gone as WTRL
Sprint.
now pulls away from it. It looks like Bonar, though, that coming from Finesse is maybe going to come over the top. Has he got anything left in the tank? And no,
Course.
WTRL
Oh.
barely pulls it off there. Nice little
We'll go
kick.
to the back end API on that
Beckett
one. I
rolls
think.
across the line and lets the Dirty Ducks take another spot from him. What's going on here?
The Dirty Ducks, man. They're relentless out there. Hey, thanks for racing, everybody. Cool to jump in. It's very cool to see the Bees finishing up there. They had a long day in the saddle.
Oh, yeah.
No
Long
joke.
day in the saddle. Let's go ahead and see if we got some of the results then. As we can let everybody know where the series standings are. They should be updated as well. But for the day, Annabella stole Danersu. She was the story. In and amongst the women's results that we did see in the A category there. Taking the win. Solid half a second. Anna Russell, though, we thought Catherine Monks, it looked like, but no. Anna Russell nipped
Scoring
it.
it for Anna.
Yeah, at the line. Catherine for third. Paige Bolt, Rachel Lieberman. Now, that may end up, though, in Finesse Wahoo favor for the Wahoo chicks there. We'll have to take a look at the series standings after this because there's a lot of Finesse Wahoo and Sarsa Polska. ATP might be the ones losing out on the day, actually, looking at this results here for that top 10 day.
Yeah. I agree. We'll see how this affects things in the overall, remembering that 20 points go for the top team. You see their nations flag there. Makes me think of the Nations Cup coming up. But what's really important here is the team that they're on, as far as ATP or Sarah's to Pros Closet, etc., because that's where we'll be collecting the points and looking at how they're doing in the overall. Again, week 7 of 10 is now done and dusted. One for the history books. Great racing. And not only the men and the women, but it looks like every single category had an outstanding day. I'm going to jump in and take a look at the Australian taking the win. That's Selena Schick winning in the C. So A's and B's are combined. Lindsay Siegel takes the silver medal and Susan Scharf for bronze in the C's. That's nice to see, as that's going to be Sherry Birdie Townsend up there in Minnesota. Big supporter of junior cycling and just a great person in the U.S. cycling community there. Nice to see. Sherry, 4th. Sarah Pye in 5th. Kim Schaff in 6th. Michelle Henry, 7th. B. Kostick in 8th. Kari Wilson-Fort in 9th, and then Ashley Konworski in 10th. So there's a look at your top 10. Same thing for the C's. They'll be calculating how the teams are going to score this one, as after a big day of racing, we'll move into another team time trial next week. But that's the women as we take a look at our top 10, and again, A's and B's combined together. Selena, congratulations.
I wanted to jump right into looking at the standings for the overall in the league. I am looking to try and get this here quickly because I want to jump right into it because it is a question, but it's not updated just yet. So we'll wait for that and we'll jump right into the men here. Pierre Vicati walked away with it. Well, it was a late catch, actually. Get Zwifty, I thought he had it. But Pierre Vicati able to get a late dash to the line. Usborn there, across the line, followed up by Michael Gronert. And then it's going to be Chad. But Timmy Bauer showing up for 6th. And Alex Tenselhoff, his teammate there. Quinn Lewandowski and Wouter Zwart. Nathan Laranza now across the line. So that's going to be your top 10 in the men's side for the A's. That was quite the battle. Really quite the battle here out here today. And very, very active racing both on the men's and the women's side. So big shout out to America's East, making it some of the most exciting racing of the day. And for the B category, Dave.
Yeah, we got to watch this finale as well. Super exciting to see Michael Tate taking the win, Anwar Gorham for silver, Ryan Kettleson bronze. Then the chocolate medal for fourth place going to Brian Owens. It's Brad Dirksen in fifth, Bobby G in sixth, Mark Murawski in seventh, Joe Thomas eighth, Jason Mutchler in ninth, and then Eric Janot rounding out our top 10. A lot of American flags up there. These guys making sure, Nathan, they burn off some surplus calories before they dig in on Thursday for Thanksgiving. There's our C's popping up. I'll throw it back to you.
Greg Bracken's there, 53.05, with Perry McFall coming through for a second place. Whit Gifford, followed up by Kent Johnson. Sully, related to Tim. Greg Wilson, and then it's going to be Sean Fogenberg there. Andy Crow coming on through for eighth. Bob McPeters, followed up by Jeff.
If you get the Tim joke, you've been with us all day.
Yep.
Right?
Tim, and off to the D's.
Jerome Brodieu. Congratulations, Jerome. That's a big win there in the D's for the Canadian. John Witt in second, Paul Corrine in third, taking the bronze medal. Scott Haviland in fourth, Ali Hassani in fifth, Brian Reimer in sixth, Damian S. in seventh, Matthew Derry, Les Stansberry, and Ryan Robinson. That rounds out your top 10, America's East. We're not done. Kate Bates is firing up her computer down in Australia. We had a fantastic time covering our America's East division. Always a lot of fun. I really identify with this group. Nathan?
We're waiting for the standings to update. I have a feeling that we're 524. 524, everybody. It's officially, we've got a 524.
Oh.
there's another bear. There's a bear in these bears, man, in Canada. They're breaking in for the honey. Jarvis needs to get out of the server. Come on, Jarvis. Settle
We
down.
got a 524 situation.
We got a 524. We got a 524 yep, happening here. Calm on down.
Air code 524, which Nathan identified earlier today. That's right after we met Tim, I think, that showed up. We've had a blast. I truly love Tuesdays, the community day of racing. Put it in perspective for you. When WTRL started, that's our friends Martin and Steven, when they started 84 weeks ago, there were 7 teams that showed up for the first team time trial. Now, I'd expect for the World Championships on Thursday, Nathan, we'll have maybe 5,000 plus riders, over 1,000 teams representing more than 100 nations. This is developed into our Nations series of races as well, coming up in early December on the World Championship course before that big race on the 9th. So there is a lot going on in this community. And I know Nathan really wants to be able to show everybody the updated tally points table for the racing that we've seen, because this was the 7th of 10 weeks for our community racing. The Premier League, which takes place on Mondays, doing 8 weeks of racing. So 2 bonus weeks for the community. We only have about a
half hour, though, for break here, everybody, before we do get into the West. So we're going to go ahead and take our break, and we'll see you guys.
You can find it online.
You'll find it with WTR.racing. The updates will be coming on through. It's going to be, I have a feeling that website's going to be hit pretty quick here, because there's a lot on the line. There's a lot of points to take to see who actually took the overall points wins. It's 20 to the first place who had the most points on the day will take those 20 points down. I think Sarsa Pros Clouds on the women's side of things really were able to pull something off there. Watch out for Wahoo still. They did put a lot in those top 10, both on the men's and the women's side as well. So really interesting how things are playing out there as ATP look to take a backseat to me this week, which is not normal for them. Some other teams really been doing their work. I want to say thanks a lot to both Stars to Pros Cars as well as Wahoo Finesse for letting us get into their team car. We do look forward to jumping into all the team cars as much as we can to give some highlights into all of the inner workings of the teams. We'll see you guys in just about 30 minutes or so for the America's West. I'm Nathan Guerra Dave Towle, and Kate and Dave will be right back in just a moment. So we'll see you then, and as that was everybody, right on.